Tonight on News 22.
The Aggies came so close. We'll have the story of heartbreaking loss.
Why are students and parents at Centennial High School so upset about elementary kids sharing their school?
And spring is officially here, and it's time to manage those allergies.
All that and more on News 22 Thursday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gabe Chavez.
And I'm Victoria Valderrama. The Aggies are coming home, but they were oh so close. It was the first round of the NCAA tournament against the Auburn Tigers. Students gathered at Pete's Patio in Corbett Center to watch. The 12-seed Aggies stayed right with the 4-seed Tigers the entire game. The Aggies trailed by 3 going into the halftime break, and it came down to the last second. 3 free throws would win it, but Terrell Brown made only 1 and time ran out. Aggies 77, Tigers 78. Aggies finished the season with a 30-5 record. We'll have more on the game later in sports. The Aggie women are hoping for better luck in Ames, Iowa. They left from the parking lot of the Pan Am Center just before 1 this afternoon. The women won the WAC tournament in double overtime over UT Rio Grande Valley last Saturday. Coach Brooke Atkinson said the team is ready to get back on the court.
We're very excited. We're excited about the seed we got and the draw we got, and the girls are just ready to go. They're ready to play again.
They'll play the Iowa State Cyclones Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
It finally feels like spring's kicking in.
It really does feel like that, and Christian can tell us what's going on here at home next with the first look at weather.
Thanks, Vicki. This is Christian Cermeño with your current conditions. Taking a look outside, skies are currently partly cloudy with the temperature currently at 72 degrees. Winds coming in 12 miles per hour from the south-southwest. Humidity at 18% with a dew point at 28 degrees. Finally, our barometer reads at 29.87 inches. Taking a look at the temperature we did experience today, we did have a high of 73 degrees with an average this time of year at 71 degrees, and we did wake up to an overnight low of 46 degrees. Throwing it back to record temps, back in 2004 we did hit a record high of 89 degrees, and back in 2010 we did have a record low of 25 degrees. Now, we did not experience any rainfall today, leaving our yearly rainfall at 0.63 inches. Now, I'll be back later with your national forecast. For now, back to the desk.
Las Cruces Public Schools had an 86% graduation rate this past year. Las Cruces schools were well above the state average of 74%. The district was also above the national average, which is 85%. The national graduation rate is currently at an all-time high and has increased every year over the past 6 years. A fire is burning strong at Centennial High School. Parents took their complaints to the Las Cruces Public School Board.
Alyssa Tejas explains why the situation has now gotten trickier for the district.
To the Columbia Centennial situation, they would be removed from office at the direction of downtown administration without any question.
Cameron Castillo is the student body president of Centennial High School. Following a student advisory meeting, Centennial vice principals temporarily stripped him of his position.
Accused me of failing to cede the meeting back to the president of the school advisory council.
He says there's speculation the elementary kids will be taking over their classrooms, and he's opposed to that.
I think the superintendent is intimidated by me.
This is the type of student that's going to make a difference for us in the future.
Board members were not intimidated.
We are not afraid to hear your voices. We are not. And I am looking right at you, Cameron.
Administrators say they're battling false rumors that are fanning the flames and making the situation worse. They say speculation that little kids will be taking over their classrooms is just that. Speculation. Board member Maria Flores says the whole situation is ridiculous.
And if it were a hurricane, an earthquake, or a tornado, would you not open the door for these students?
The administration says keeping the little kids at Centennial is the best option, and the plan is to keep them there until the new Columbia Elementary is finished. Alyssa Tejas, News 22.
New Mexico's congressional delegation is working towards getting the new federal space development agency located in New Mexico. A letter was written by the member of delegation to Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan saying New Mexico is the perfect place, citing Spaceport America, White Sands Missile Range, and the national labs. The department would oversee military space research and acquisition efforts.
Look up to the skies on April 7th. Spaceport America will be launching its annual celebration of space-related activities and interests in southern New Mexico. Some of the activities include meeting the teams from Spaceport America and Virgin Galactic. Former NASA astronaut pilot CJ Strakau will be a special guest at the event. For more information and to fill out a registration form, visit Las Cruces spacefestival.com. As kids, we've probably wondered what it would be like to go to space. It's been almost 50 years since a man made a historic landing on the moon.
News 22's Diana Castillo shows us that mankind is still not done exploring space.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing.
In 1969, Neil Armstrong became the first person to set foot on the moon. Budget cuts and policy changes cut the moon program short. But decades later, there is a new mission.
I like to say going forward to the moon rather than going back to the moon, because we're really taking with us new science questions, new technologies, and we're also bringing industry with us. So what's exciting and different?
Dr. Jack Burns was an astronomy professor and department head at NMSU. He came back to lecture on the future of space exploration. He says a big difference this time is that private companies are involved, and some of those are interested because there could be profit in mining on the moon and asteroids.
The future for space exploration is bright, but the question is, what does the future hold for the New Mexico spaceport?
While the viability of the spaceport is coming much slower than its supporters promised, Burns is still optimistic about its future.
We saw really an opportunity and a potential for New Mexico, which has now matured to actually be one of the leading spaceports in the country.
Burns says the return to the moon is just a step along the way. Both private industries and NASA are also working on a long-range plan to send humans to Mars. News 22, Diana Castillo.
A group called the Center for Budget and Priorities says New Mexico's infrastructure is crumbling, and the state should be spending millions to repair it. The group is talking about transportation, public buildings, water treatment systems, roads, and bridges. The group says infrastructure spending is not even at the same level as 2002. New Mexico is not alone in this. Across the nation, years of neglect have resulted in crumbling roads, bridges in need of repair, inadequate public transportation, outdated school buildings, and other critical infrastructure needs. The American Society of Civil Engineers gave U.S. infrastructure a D+ or poor rating. Some people have been fooled by people posing as Las Cruces Utilities Department. Last month, a person posed as a city employee and claimed they were hanging notices on doors to alert people of an upcoming visit. This week, another customer claimed someone went to their home to place a monitor on their gas meter and asked for money up front. The Las Cruces Utilities Department wants residents to be on alert because the persons may be looking to scam more people.
The FBI is searching for a woman who allegedly was involved in a drug trafficking organization that operated in several states, including New Mexico. 28-year-old suspected Marisol Peña faces federal charges of conspiracy, distribution of methamphetamine, and aiding and abetting. Peña is Hispanic, has brown hair and green eyes. Peña should be considered armed and dangerous. Anyone with information on Peña's whereabouts should immediately call the FBI. A New Mexico State police officer is under arrest today by the Chavez County Sheriff's Department. Officer Ricky Romero, out of the Roswell station, is being charged with violating numerous state laws. When the New Mexico State Police learned of the investigation, they placed Romero on administrative leave. Romero also faces disciplinary action, which could include possible termination from the state police. According to a release from the Chavez County Sheriff, the New Mexico State Police are cooperating fully with the sheriff's investigation and will continue to do so. And stay tuned, Christian will be back with your national forecast.
But first, if you're not looking forward to spring because of its allergy season, we have some tips that can help you. More on that when News 22 continues.
Hi, I'm Edmundo Resendez, Director of Development for KRWG Public Media. I love KRWG Public Media membership drives because it is a wonderful opportunity to hear directly from our viewers who value the service of KRWG Public Media. To all of you that either called or gave online, thank you for your support. You are the key to our future. If you do not get a chance to give, it's not too late. Call us 888-922-5794 or contribute online at krwg.org.
I'm Robert Palacios. Join us for Fronteras, A Changing America, where we explore the people and issues affecting our growing border communities. We cover serious issues and have lighthearted interviews that highlight arts and culture in Las Cruces, El Paso, and Ciudad Juarez. Join us every week for Fronteras here on KRWG Public Media.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Thursday,
where news matters.
A new wave of transportation is getting ready to embark in Las Cruces.
Pedicabs are getting ready to begin rolling in the downtown area. The cost per ride will be $1 per ride per person. The city is spending $30,000 on the cab service and hopes to increase business in the downtown area and allow people to better get around the area. They hope to roll out with the program by May, although contracts are still in the works. If you suffer from seasonal allergies, you might not be altogether excited about spring being here.
But in today's Health Minute, Meredith Wood gives you some tips that might make you feel a little bit better this year.
Ah, spring. When the snow melts, the days become longer, and the flowers are in bloom. And the pollen. All the pollen. According to the CDC, more than 50 million Americans suffer from allergies, and many of those are considered seasonal. In the spring, it starts with pollen released from the trees, followed by grass later in the season. Those who suffer from seasonal allergies face an onslaught of symptoms such as sneezing, stuffy nose, itchy nose, watery eyes, and those are just to name a few. If you're one of the millions that go through this every year, there are a few things you can do to ease the discomfort. Check the pollen count in your area. Several weather apps will provide that information on a daily basis. When the pollen is high, limit your exposure by staying inside and keeping windows closed. Change out the air filters in your home frequently and make sure you are using HEPA filters. Wash your hair before going to bed. If you've been doing things outside, toss those clothes in the laundry when you get back in. And don't forget to talk to your doctor about taking a daily allergy medication, including a nasal spray. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
The growth rate of the sea ice in the Arctic is apparently shrinking. The ice usually thickens and expands during the fall and winter months. Scientists report at its peak this year, the ice grew to be 5.7 million square miles, but that's much smaller than its average growth in the past. According to NASA, this is equal to missing an area of ice larger than the state of Texas. NASA reports the max extent of ice this year matches the year 2007 as the seventh smallest on record. Historic floods continue to wreak havoc in the Midwest. Millions of people are under some sort of warning as the floods move south.
Conditions are improving in Nebraska, where the water is receding, but further south along the Mississippi River, the threat continues. Reed Binion has the latest.
Devastation moving downstream. Sandbagging efforts are underway in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, as historic floodwaters flow south, further into America's heartland. City officials in Craig, Missouri urged residents to evacuate. Floodwaters breached a levee near the town on Wednesday. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker toured flooded neighborhoods in northern Illinois. High waters isolated neighborhoods and forced hundreds of people from their homes.
It's going to recede a little bit, but it'll come back up, and I want everybody to be safe.
Flooding is expected to continue for the next few days as the surplus of water runs down the Mississippi River. In Nebraska, residents are getting a look at what's left as the waters start to recede, leaving behind a grim reminder of the deadly power of water as farmers and livestock owners assess the destruction.
We lost roughly 700 head of hogs, so it's been a little devastating, but The worst is yet to come. We got to clean it up.
Livestock stranded by the high water received airdrops of hay from the state's National Guard. Locals say spirits are generally positive despite the damage and loss. Neighbors are helping neighbors as the community works to rebuild.
You know, like anything, we're in Nebraska. We're going to bounce back.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Well, as we heard, there's been snow in parts of the country.
I have heard that, and it's been pretty warm here in New Mexico. Christian's up next with your national forecast.
Now it's time for your national forecast. In our first map, we'll take a look at windy conditions in New England through the weekend. States in the Northeast United States will be experiencing strong gusts of wind due to a storm system moving into this region. Areas in the dark purple will be representing the 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts, including Boston, New York, and Baltimore. Now in this map, we'll take a look at temperatures of the states affected by this storm. Since the strong gusts of wind will be moving into this area, the temperatures will be decreasing, thus bringing up some cold temperatures. Areas such as Buffalo, New York will be experiencing 0 to 10 degree weather. Now areas such as Boston, New York City, and Washington, D.C. will be experiencing 10 to 20 degree weather. Now finally, areas in the light blue will be experiencing 20 to 30 degree weather, such as Chicago and Cincinnati. And in my last map, we'll take a look at a storm system moving into Texas from the Gulf of Mexico. It is bringing up some more humid, moist air, bringing some thunderstorms into this area, affecting cities such as Amarillo, Midland, San Antonio, and Dallas. Now, this is important because it will bring gusty winds, local downpours, and travel delays. That's all I have for your national forecast. I'll be back later with your local temperatures. For now, you're watching News 22 Thursday.
Fresh Air with Terry Gross, weekday mornings at 11 on 90.7 FM and streaming live on KRWG.org.
I have my shop helper with me, and we created this country Sheraton nightstand with a clear coat epoxy resin on top of river stones. Mahogany, walnut. This is a show for you.
Saturday morning at 8:30 on KRWG Public Media.
This week on Central Texas Gardener, discover how to attract butterflies. Texas master naturalists and authors Lynn and Jim Weber keep butterflies around with native host plants. In Blanco, a couple pairs wildlife habitat with structured gardens. Certified arborist April Rose answers your top tree questions, and Carla Crownover has your backyard basics tip. So let's get growing.
Saturday at 2 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22. Taking a look outside, temperatures experienced across New Mexico: Farmington at 47 degrees, Santa Fe at 47 degrees, Clovis at 61, Ruidoso at 45 degrees, Roswell at 58 degrees, Las Cruces at a warmer 72 degrees, and Deming at 71 degrees. Expected temperatures for tomorrow: Farmington at 52 degrees, Santa Fe at 49 degrees, Socorro at 65, Ruidoso at 56, Roswell at a warm 74, and Deming at 68 degrees. Taking a look at our neighboring cities, Alamogordo will have mostly cloudy skies tonight with a low of 49, with partly cloudy skies tomorrow with a high of 69. Now, Truth or Consequences will have partly cloudy skies throughout tomorrow with a low of 47 and a high of 71. Now in Silver City, they have mostly cloudy skies throughout tomorrow as well with a low of 35 and a high of 59. Now finally here in Las Cruces, we will have mostly cloudy skies this evening with a low of 65 and partly cloudy skies tomorrow with a high of 70. Now I'll be back later with your 5-day forecast. For now, back to the desk.
Police just outside Corpus Christi have a mystery on their hands.
Andrea Vasquez has the rest of the story and that with more on today's Southwest Minute.
Park employees at Laguna Madre, which is part of the Padre Island National Seashore near Corpus Christi, found an ATM and gun safe submerged in one of the lakes. Police fished the items out of the water, and now they're trying to figure out how they got into the lake. In Scottsdale, Arizona, a medical worker is under arrest for sexually assaulting an unconscious woman in his care. Police say Xavier Bettis was transporting the woman to a recovery center when the assault allegedly took place. The woman woke up and called 911. Bettis was linked to the crime through DNA. Downtown Los Angeles was treated to quite the sight on Wednesday night. Expert skydivers wearing special wingsuits, decked out with LED lights and pyrotechnic sparks, flew through the night sky from 4,000 feet up. It was part of a film shoot as well as a celebration of the third and final supermoon of the season. I'm Jera Vasquez with the Southwest Minute.
So today was the big game against the Auburn Tigers, and we sadly lost.
I heard that. It was such a tragedy. And Claire's up next with more on that in sports.
Thanks, Vicki and Gabe. Coming up in sports, see when and where the Lady Aggies will be playing in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Don't go too far. News 22 Sports is next.
I was soaked with sweat. I was nauseous.
When the heart does not get enough blood supply for a period of time, it stops working.
We help people survive cardiac events, but the rest of the story comes after the acute crisis.
They call it a cardiac event like it's some kind of party, but it ain't no party.
I'm Dr. Peter Salgo. Join us this week for Second Opinion.
Sunday at 1:30 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
Next time on Startup, we head to Tulsa, Oklahoma to meet up with Daniel and Maria, the creators of Grassroots Ranch.
Making sure that all of these animals have the food and water and a comfortable place to range every single day, no days off. It's hard.
Throw the rule book out of the window. Owning a farm for us didn't start out with buying a farm.
Started out with a few chickens and some sheep.
Chickens and a lot of failure.
Be sure to join us next time on Startup.
Sunday at 2:30 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
This is KRWG-22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm Claire Cabello, and let's talk sports. Unfortunately, NMSU's men's basketball team fell short at the NCAA tournament in Salt Lake City, Utah today. The men had a slow first half, but picked up the speed in the second, leading to their loss by only 1 point. People all over Las Cruces were supporting the Aggies by watching in local movie theaters, downtown, and on campus. Although the men closed their season today, they finished with an incredible record of 30-5. The Aggies were on a 19-game win streak before heading to the tournament and were WAC champs for the third year in a row. This is the most wins the Aggies have had in program history. Despite the disappointing loss, we are still very proud of our Aggies. The women's basketball team is headed to Iowa right now to take on Iowa State in the NCAA tournament. After the suspense was taken away from all of the women's teams headed to the big dance when ESPN mistakenly posted the bracket 3 hours early, the women are still looking forward to taking on the third-seeded Iowa State Cyclones. I spoke to Coach Atkinson before getting on the bus, and she said her team is ready.
We're very excited. We're excited about the seed we got and the draw we got, and the girls are just ready to go. They're ready to play again.
This season was the 50th anniversary of the Pan American Center. Some fans may look back at some of the moments from this season as their favorite from inside the arena. One moment may be when sophomore Johnny McCants hit the half-court shot to defeat Grand Canyon during the regular season. In honor of the anniversary, we asked fans to share their favorite moments from the first 50 years.
UNLV, when Rebels won the championship that year.
Oh, I loved the night when Larry Bird was here. I loved watching Reggie Theus win here. I loved watching Marvin win here. But I really love the players that come and the friendships that we have with all the players through the years. And I was at the very first game in the Pan Am, and I'll be at the very last game in the Pan Am.
The New Mexico State women's tennis team has a long weekend ahead of them. The Lady Aggies have 3 back-to-back games. They will take on Kansas City on Friday, UT Rio Grande Valley on Saturday, and Grand Canyon on Sunday in Phoenix, Arizona. After the long weekend, the women will stay on the road during spring break to face Paradise Valley Community College on Wednesday, March 27th. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for some more sports action when we come back from spring break. Still ahead on News 22, Christian will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, the Cadbury Bunny has an unexpected look. More on that when News 22 returns.
on tastemakers tucked away in a tiny greenhouse on the North Fork of Long Island. Taylor and Kate Knapp are hand-raising tens of thousands of snails in the country's first USDA-certified snail farm.
There's kind of a terroir about it all. The snails are eating greens from Long Island. They're raised on Long Island. It couldn't get any more like fresh and domestic than that.
Monday at 2 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
On Women, War and Peace 2.
The British and Irish governments have announced a firm date for the start of all party negotiations on the Northern Ireland peace process.
I'd never been in a political party before in my life. It wasn't politics, it was peace that I wanted.
Monday at 8 p.m.
Next time on Finding Your Roots.
Oh my God.
Gabby Hoffman.
I have at times felt very, very lost.
And Taya Leone.
Who's that?
That's your grandmother.
On the next Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Let's take a look at our top stories. The New Mexico State men's basketball team lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament to the Auburn Tigers. Alyssa Thayes tells us about the students and parents at Centennial High School who are upset because of the little ones that have populated the high school. In today's Health Minute, springtime allergies are not the best, but following some helpful tips can help you feel better.
Easter is right around the corner, and this year's Cadbury Bunny has been selected, though it's not much of a bunny to begin with. Henry the English Bulldog is the chocolate company's star for their Clucking Bunny commercial this year. Henry's family will receive $5,000, and the company is donating $10,000 more to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. The family plans to use that money towards Henry's training to become a therapy dog.
That is so sweet.
I know, that's so adorable.
So precious. So Christian, tell us about the next 5 days.
Absolutely. Over the next 5 days, we're going to be experiencing some warmer temperatures. We're finally going to hit that 80-degree mark next Tuesday. Mostly sunny skies throughout the week with very not so chilly evenings.
Well, that sounds good to me. I'm gearing up for spring break.
Same here.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, you can catch all of today's aired stories and past newscasts on our YouTube page at youtube.com/KRWG News 22.
And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat for show updates and the latest on what the News 22 team is up to.
And that's all for News 22 Thursday. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight.
We will be back on after spring break. We will return the following after. And be sure to catch more with us across the Southwest. I'm Gabe Chavez.
I'm Victoria Valderrama.
I'm Christian Cermeño.
Good night.
Good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Muy buenas tardes y bienvenidos a este breve informativo de Noticias 22. Con ustedes, Coral Godoy. Están empezando los altercados fuertemente en Centennial High School, puesto que los padres de los alumnos se quejaron con el consejo de la Escuela Pública de las Cruces, ya que semanas atrás encontraron moho en las instalaciones de New Columbia Elementary y los alumnos fueron trasladados a Centennial High School. Los administradores dicen que ellos están luchando contra los rumores porque la situación se está empeorando y creen que la mejor opción es que los niños se mantengan en la escuela hasta que la New Columbia Elementary School esté reparada. En otras noticias, las Cruces Crime Stoppers está ofreciendo una recompensa de $2,000 por información que ayude a los investigadores a identificar a la persona o personas responsables de un homicidio cometido el 5 de marzo. La policía de las Cruces publicó una foto de la víctima, Jamon Williams, de 30 años. Le está pidiendo a la comunidad información que pueda ayudar con esta investigación. Cualquier persona que tenga información debe llamar a los Cruces Crime Stoppers al 1-800-222-8477. Favor de seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales de Facebook e Instagram. Muchas gracias. Esto fue todo por hoy. Para Noticias 22, Coral Godoy.